Hey guys, MLM Man here for another late night deck profile, and as you can see from the title, we are finally looking at the upgraded MetalGaruru Ace deck. I'm calling this the Ace deck because it's basically completely different from how normal MetalGaruru really works, because mainly it does, security checks really fast on like turn 2 or 3. But this deck actually allows you to do the same thing, but at the same time also counter your opponent on certain turns, especially if they do not have a way to delete your level 5, which is actually kind of slightly common sometimes, which is kind of cool. It allows you to basically go into certain plays that you normally would not do, like leaving out a level 5, which would be really bad normally in this deck or in any deck. But the fact that you can capitalize on them attacking and doing when attacking effects is actually pretty broken. So really cool how this deck works. And of course, this being a Metal Guru deck, I also got the sleeves for it as well, and also a mat. Shout out to my friend Sandra, who actually made this mat. Really solid mat, and the fact that I'm going to be using it to play this deck, so really cool. But anyway, yeah, let's get into the deck so you can see what the new changes are. It is slightly almost like the deck is still running the blue base, but once we get the purple star deck in October, this deck will be changing completely to a purple version, which is much more faster, honestly, even better than this, because you get to cycle through your deck much faster than this one. But yeah, for eggs, we are still running the 4 Sunamons. Sunamon is still the best egg for this deck, surprisingly, just like how Koromon is the best for Greymon decks. So we usually keep 4 of this just to set up and just, get that extra 1,000 to go for a game usually. But yeah, we have the 4 Sunamons. Then for Gabumons, we of course run 4 of the BT13 because it is one of the best searchers for the deck, and we do not have multiple searchers like Greymon, where we don't have a new Gabumon yet. Hopefully, we will get a dual color blue purple one in EX5, but for now, we have these. Yeah, you gotta run 4. Then we run 4 Gabumon X Antibody because you get to evolve this for free. You get another search, and you get an X Antibody or an Omnimon off of it, so really cool. Then we run 3 of the Gabumon from BT1 because free draw, really solid. And we do run more Nokias in this build, 2 to be exact. So we will get this off most of the time, so really cool. Then the last 2 rookies we run are 2 Gabumons from Starter Deck 8 from the All-Force deck. Still really solid one, giving the plus 1,000 where you have 8 or more cards, which is very easy to achieve in this deck. So solid. We run, let's see, 8, 11, 12, 13. I was running 14 originally. I was running I was running another one of these, but I felt sometimes I actually just bricked into only Gabumon, so I kept that 13 to kind of like see that extra rookie, but not all the time. So yeah, that's all the level 3 rookies we are running. For level 4s, we are of course running 4 of the promo Garurumon from like way back, basically, like one of the first promos ever released. This one is not once per turn, and every time you swing, you basically get to draw an extra card, which will help you fill up your hand for either triggering effects or other effects like what Ace does. So gotta run at least 4. Then we run 4 Guru X because it is one of your main cards for protection, especially when swinging into security. This guy's still like a staple because you get to just detach 2 and survive battles, so really powerful. Then we run 2 Garurumons as our last level 4s. This one's really cool because you get to evolve it on a Gabumon out here, and it only costs 1. Also, the fact is that it does give 1,000, so it does help boost your Metal Garuru later on when it becomes a level 6 or 5, so really cool. And yeah, that's basically all the level 4s we run. For level 5s, we have a kind of a weird mix. So we have 2 of the Weregurus from EX1 because, as you guys know from my previous deck profile, when Digivolving, it draws 1. And then when attacking, if you have 8 or more cards, you get to gain a memory. So really cool and very easy to achieve. Then we run 2 Sagittarius modes because having 4 protection is honestly sometimes not enough. So having Sagittarius mode for that extra protection is really good. And of course, it bounces level 4s, so it can potentially hurt like decks like Alphamon if they haven't set up yet. And yeah, then we run 1 Weregururu promo because of course it's been limited to 1. Still very powerful card, still does a lot of work, so you have to at least run the 1 copy. And then the last level 5 we run is the Weregururu X, Antibody. Really solid card. Really cool to just swing and then evolve into this, bounce their dude. Then, it's unsuspended. You get an extra security check with that one. You get to survive stuff, or you get an extra memory, so really cool. You have to at least run 3. I was running 2 way back, but you never see it basically, so you have to run at least 3. I know some people do run 4 of this, but I feel 3 is already solid enough that you'll see it consistently. I see this almost every time I play this deck, so there's no problem with consistency with this deck, so really cool. Then, of course, for level 6s, we are running 3 of the new MetalGaruru Ace. This guy, honestly, super busted. Really amazing card. The main dude of your deck. So for people that don't understand the mechanic of Blast Mode, or basically Blast Evolution, so hand, counter, Blast Digivolve. One of your Digimon may Digivolve into this guy without paying the cost. And that still counts as a Digivolving or as a Digivolve, so it will trigger its when Digivolving, which is by trashing up to 3 cards in your hand, you gain 1 memory for each. Then, when attacking once per turn, you can trash a card in your hand and delete one of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest level. So you can kill their small blocker or whatever, and it's really cool. And you can survive battle regardless. So if you go into the X Antibody version of him, you basically end up getting to get 2 swings no matter what. The only downside to him would be the Ace Overflow, which is -4 when this guy leaves the field in any capacity. You will lose 4 memory, which really sucks, but you can mitigate it because this is blue. You can gain memory through other means, so really cool. You have to run at least 3 of this. This guy's really strong, and the fact that he can counter on your opponent's turn, but also the fact is that on your turn, when you Digivolve, you can just discard 3 cards, which by the time you evolve into this, you should have a hand of 12 or more cards. So really cool that when you swing or when you Digivolve, you basically can just make his you can make his evolution cost 0, which is really insane. Just the fact that you get a free evolve and you get to swing multiple times, which is really powerful and can potentially get you games. But yeah, you have to run 3. Then you run 3 of the MetalGarurumon X Antibody because this one evolves on top of him for 1 cost, and you get to bounce something, and it becomes a blocker for the turn, and it's 12,000, so really strong. Also, when it unsuspends, it just bounces something of the lowest cost. So if your opponent just decides to try to choke you at 1, this will just bounce that rookie that they just played, so they basically have to start over again, so really cool. That's all the level 6s that we run in the deck. For level 7s, we only run 2. We run 1 Omnimon Blitz, which, the Blitz for game, and then 1 Omnimon X to basically remove problems and swing for game also, so really strong. The usual best combo is to go with this on top of this, but usually you get one or the other, so usually I always end up doing this because I get to just remove something on the board, and I get to remove something in security, so much more solid sometimes, so I run 1 of each. And sometimes you just want to go for game, so this also helps too. But yeah, that's basically all the Digimon in the deck. For option cards, we run 3 blue memory boosts because we still need to search a bit. We run 1 Sorai to get rid of sources, especially against Greymon. This actually helps get rid of a lot of their protection, which is really strong. This card actually was the card to actually stop my Black War Greymon X deck at Nationals because of them stripping my protection from bouncing. So really strong sometimes when they hit it by accident. Then we run 3 X Antibodies. X Antibody is really powerful in this deck because you get to just evolve into either Werguru X or MetalGaruru X, or you basically just gain a memory off this, so really cool. Then that's all the options that we run for Tamers. I did up the Tamer count, as I mentioned. I'm running 2 Nokias instead now and 2 Davises. Nokia, in almost all my matches, basically helped me win the game. So I decided when I took out certain cards, I increased Nokia up to 2 instead of 1 because she's just so solid, and she helps you play out Gabumons and reduce your cost, so really cool. Davis, of course, is self-explanatory because he searches any blue card, so you basically get to get anything in this deck except for maybe the X Antibodies and Nokia and maybe Omni, but everything else is just 3 games, so really solid, and he sets your memory. And unless they're playing War Greymon, which, that's whatever, because then you just get to make another stack and just keep punching for game. So really solid deck, or just really solid tamer for this deck because you get to just do so much with it. Aside from that, the build, as I mentioned, is very consistent. You will see a lot of your stuff much more consistently now with how the ratios are. Like before, my ratios were kind of weird, but now I've finally gotten to the point where this deck feels really comfortable, very strong, and has a lot of potential. In my testing, I did test this against Alphamon. I know a lot of people are worried about it coming back, but this deck, I guarantee you, will still counter that deck no matter what 100%. Because that deck, despite the fact that it has protection from deletion, it has protection from DP reduction, it has a way to delete stuff, it has a way to gain memory. Doesn't matter because when their alpha gets bounced, they lose that entire stack and they can't do anything about it at that point and they have to restart. And at the same time, you are bouncing and getting rid of their other line that they might have out, like maybe a Dorugumon that's like just kind of sitting there as a blocker. You're going to get rid of it thanks to WereGaruru X. And then with this one, you're getting rid of their alpha, so you basically clear the board and have to force them to restart in the racing area while you're just swinging for game at that point. And also at that point, you should have an entire line in your hand anyway. So once it goes back to your turn, you just go, okay, I'm going to build another line, play a rookie. Okay, you kill my rookie. All right, cool. I'm going to swing for game next turn. It's basically that. Like, against a lot of the old decks, it has a lot of consistency because it just completely bounces everything. Even surprisingly, I tested this against my Jessamon deck, and it's really cool because you just go in and you swing, and they block one, and at that point, their guy basically either they're swinging, they're blocking with GX or they're blocking with a Sistermon, and either way, you survive both battles because A, you can detach to survive the battle, or you kill their Sistermon, and then you evolve into the WereGaruru X while bouncing their guy, making it so they are not blockers anymore, and you get to just go off. Then, of course, once you go into this, you get to just bounce another Sistermon, so you basically force them to lose more advantage. Also, at the same time, when you go into this, you can delete their dude, bottom deck it, and then or blitz in for game. And most of the time, before they can even set up, you've already checked like 2 to 3 of their security. So it's very hard for them to come back after that unless they have GX. If they don't have GX, then it's basically done. Or if they get Genku, sure. But at the same time, if you end up like bouncing all their Sistermons, they basically can't do anything about it at that point. So really strong. And yeah, against Shine, surprisingly, this deck doesn't really care that it's getting DP reduced because, as I mentioned, they can kill the first stack. It doesn't matter because by that point, you already have enough resources to just rebuild and punch for game. And I know the deck can be really fast, especially with Marcus like swinging and then they swarm the board. The fact that this deck can go faster than it is already really strong, and it's very memory efficient at the same time thanks to Nokia and or Davis setting your memory. So really cool. Very solid and very powerful against it. Royal Knights, I have not tested against it, but I feel it is also very strong because it does prevent them from tucking more sources under Yggdrasil. Because if you go into this, you're basically going to end up bouncing something unless it's Crania, and at that point it's like whatever. But against every other Royal Knight in that section or in that deck, you basically have free game to go for it. Along with that, there's also Belphamon, and it does delete something, but it doesn't really matter because, yeah, they can stop one attack, but you have like 4 to 3 attacks. So no matter what, you're going to go in for the kill. And even if they summon something like a blocker like Gizumon XT, it's still going to be very tough for them because you're basically checking almost their entire security in one turn. So they have to recover or kill your guy as fast as possible. And with Ace now, you're basically able to just like do a free level 6 evolution or a 1 cost for this, and it's just really powerful how that works because then you could just bounce their dude every time. It doesn't even matter if they negate 1 attack because you're still going to swing again and again. And then against like Rosemon, yeah, your stuff gets suspended, but you still have the guy in raising. So against a lot of like the top tier decks, you will have a very good matchup, surprisingly. Like this deck and Greymon are still very strong against the meta because the meta still now requires more setup time and cannot keep up with your X antibody protection either, just like this deck. So really strong. I highly recommend trying it out. And as I mentioned many times, this is a template for you guys to work with to modify however you want. You can change out the options. You can change out the tamers. This is just how it works for me at the moment. But yeah. Anyway, thank you, for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of the deck. Any like comments you want to say about it. Like any changes, honestly, because I want to make this deck as good as possible because this is one of my favorite decks aside from Machine Dramon. So really strong. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.